What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. By my count, in the First Descendant we have 31 of these rare research materials in the game, and these are essentially found by playing missions and doing activities, and they're super important for you to farm since they are used for crafting descendants, crafting weapons, and crafting upgrade materials. So in this video today, I'm going to be sharing you how to efficiently farm all of these. These are all the same farms that I use to gather up all these materials for all of my crafting needs. And basically, you'll be able to look in the description below to each different timestamp. If you're looking for a specific material, I'm going to run through them alphabetical, and you'll be able to find a way that you can get these super fast and super efficient. Just a quick preface before we actually get started. But I've made a few of these gathering and farming videos before on the channel, and I will continue on to make more of them for the First Descendant. But I wanted to spend a quick moment just explaining the thought behind some of the decisions that I make, because I've been seeing a lot of comments coming up on why don't you do it on normal and do it this way and so on. I appreciate that feedback, but I also just want to explain, maybe it makes a little bit more sense the way that my head works. But first and foremost, the question between normal and hard in the game when you are gathering these materials. The point stands that about 90% or 99% of the time, you're going to be able to gather the exact same ingredients by doing the same activity just in normal instead of hard. And you'll be able to do it faster, so even if you're making a little bit less on normal, the fact that you're winning up on speed by being able to go faster, not having to grind and struggle with difficult enemies, is going to mean more materials over time. However, whenever I am able to do an activity on hard and it doesn't actually blow the time too much out of proportion, I tend to want to do it on hard, and that's simply because as you are playing and killing stuff, reactors are dropping, external components are dropping, and weapons and stuff are dropping, and these are all dropping at max level at 100. So in a way, this is for me like killing two birds with one stone, and still is efficient for me because you never know when you might get a perfect reactor or something like that to drop. And that has certainly been the case for me, where a lot of the times just by doing something, I've managed to find a reactor that was phenomenally good, and I wasn't even actually trying to target farm for it. So in this case, efficiency doesn't always translate to the fastest for me. It certainly does sometimes, but in this case, I feel like I can double up on, also getting stuff while I do something. The second reason why it is good to play on hard difficulty whenever you can is because that's the difficulty that code breakers drop on. Code breakers are of course used to open up caches on all of the different planets. You can use Enzo or just do it with another character if you want to struggle. But the bottom line is the breaker variant of this, the hard mode variant of this, gives you a huge amount of Kuiper and a huge amount of these different resources when you open them on hard difficulty. And of course you cannot get breakers to drop on normal difficulty. So this is just another way that you can just increase your chances of just dropping as much as possible. And then lastly, to address the debate about launching out of the city into specific activities, which is also a comment that I've gotten on the videos, where you can directly launch into missions and stuff like that, and you don't have to actually teleport onto the planet and then run to the door of the planet and then queue in. The reason why I also prefer to do the whole running on the planet and running to the door, and why a lot of my guides show that, is because I also use this time to actually gather what I call open world material. So not just do you have research materials out in the world, but as you move around the world, you also have these jars and boxes and stuff like that that you can shoot open or open, and this kind of stuff, these standard research materials, fall out of that stuff like Repton and so on. Now these are also used for crafting, so this is another important thing that you should be just gathering as you're playing. And if you're constantly dumping out of the main city into missions, you might be not collecting these as much as you should, and then you could face a situation down the line where you want to research something and you need like 1,000 of something or 500 or something, and now you got to go out into the open world and go look for this shit. So it's just another way again for me to gather. However, to summarize this whole thing, my point is that if you want to do these things on normal, a lot of the times it's going to be quicker, and it's entirely up to you. I was merely just explaining why I choose to do it on hard whenever I can, but the point is, do it your way, just as long as you gather the material. So starting us off, and I hope you guys are ready because this is going to be a long one, we have advanced neural circuits. So for this, you have to go to White Knight Gulch, and the area that you need to go to is the mountain tops. Generally speaking, it's always a good idea to do this kind of farming in private, unless you don't mind running into other people that could potentially pull you into, weird situations and missions and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, this mission, the borderline of truth, is the mission that you should be running for advanced neural circuits. So you can just access this mission, and it's essentially one of these ones where this bubble comes down and you just have to defeat waves of enemies. Now there are 3 yellow bar enemies that spawn during this mission, and each one of those yellow bar enemies has a chance of dropping some of these neural circuits. Now again, I am playing this on hard. You can do this on normal as well, but on hard there's a chance that all 3 of these mobs will drop that, and you can see me highlighting essentially when those actually drop from it. Now this, by the way, is just a really good mission in any case to grind, especially this week, because there's a whole bunch of like really cool reactors that drop from here. But nonetheless, just essentially fly through this. The enemy always spawns in the middle, and this yellow bar enemy will then drop what you need, and that is advanced neural circuits. Now for our next item, that is actually going to be anode ion particles, and they make the names for this stuff so so much. Okay, but anode ion particles, you got to go to Hagios, and you got to go to Hagios, and you got to go to this broadband fleet beacon mission. Now this one I'm also doing on hard. I will just mention that, but also in below in the description it'll say next to each timestamp, it'll say whether I'm doing it on hard or normal. So this mission here is basically what you start. This is actually a fairly long-ish mission, but again, you have 3 yellow bar enemies that spawn during the course of this mission. There's our first one, and he can drop this item. Now, sometimes you can be unlucky and these enemies will not drop the resource. That happens. It is what it is. What you can do is you can wear a farming suit, meaning like items that have increased drop chances for this, and you can actually get more. Next is artificial biometal. So for artificial biometal, we're going to the sterile land, and we're going to the rockfall region over there, and we're actually going to be running everybody's favorite little farm mission, and that is anticipated ambush point, which you'll see there. Once again, I'm running this on hard. So this is a mission that's very popular because of the XP gain and everything being so good, and it's a very short, quick mission that you can run, but essentially you just defeat all these waves of enemies. And as soon as you get to this final boss here, the final yellow bar enemy basically drops what we're looking for, and there is the artificial biometal. So then for our 4th item, I believe that's balanced plasma batteries. So that is going to be coming from the fortress map, and you need to be going to the fallen arc area, which is right over here. Now for this, you're going to be going to quarantine zone, okay? And we're going to be running this on normal, all right? And that is because this mission is one of those ones that it is a lot easier for you to just actually get to the mob and kill it to be able to get this, and it's not worth going through the effort. It's one of these long 20-minute missions, so it's not worth going through the effort of actually playing that whole thing on hard. The other thing that is also prevalent in some of these missions that I found while I was compiling all of this footage and while I was testing stuff is that sometimes you get a situation where on hard difficulty some materials just don't drop regularly, or there's a lesser chance of them dropping, whereas it seems to be always a guaranteed chance on normal, but just slightly less than hard. So in those cases it's absolutely better for you to actually do it on normal, and that's why this guide also has me essentially switching between normal and hard. So this one we'll be doing on normal. It's quarantine zone, it's in fortress. And basically what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be going through this mission until you get to this room here. Now here you have to essentially occupy this area. It's this big circle room, and as soon as the occupation of this is done, you're going to run down a tunnel, and there's going to be a yellow bar enemy that you have to fight. That's him right there. As soon as you kill this guy, he is going to drop the balanced plasma battery, which is what you're looking for, and then you can simply just exit out of the mission and re-queue into it again, and this is going to be your farm for getting as many of these as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. Then next up is going to be common carbon activator, and for this we're going to be going to Vespers, and we're going to go to the lost supply depot region over here. And we're going to be going to this sepulcher, and it's been told to me that I've been pronouncing sepulcher as sepulcher. This is true. So sepulcher, I got it. So you're going to be going to the sepulcher mission, once again also doing it in normal, and you're going to be going all the way to the first yellow bar enemy. You're going to kill him, and then you're going to basically reset and farm again. So this is a very straightforward mission. We're going to pop in, and when you get to this section here, it's really close to the beginning. That's the enemy right there that you kill. Boom, he drops common carbon activator, and that's it. Now you can reset the mission and you can just go in again. Alrighty, next up we have complex carbon activators. Now this one we're actually going to do on hard because there's a little thing about this. This is another one of those 20-minute missions, but if you do this on normal, as far as I know, there's only one enemy that drops this. At least, you know, this is, I tested so many of these and I made notes, but that's pretty much it. However, if you do this mission on hard, there are 4 yellow bar enemies that you can kill, and each one of these yellow bar enemies will drop complex carbon activator. So this one is absolutely worth it to do. The good news is it's not that difficult. So you're going to be going to Echo Swamp and you're going to be doing the Seed Vault mission. And as you go through this mission, as I said, you will be fighting different waves of enemies as you move through it, and there will be a yellow bar in each one of these waves, and you'll be able to get this this actual item from that. So the first yellow bar is going to be in this area over here. We're going to get the complex carbon activator. The second one is just immediately after that. You're going to have another yellow bar down here. There he is right there as I'm running through him, and you're going to get the item there as well. And then the next 2 are going to be in this big open area here, where essentially enemies come out of these doors. And every time when one wave of enemies finishes, you'll have the final enemy, a yellow bar, coming through, and you'll be able to get again some of that complex carbon activator. I mean, the name is almost as complex as the item, right? So there we go. And then we should have one more yellow bar that comes out on this side here. Now the good news is this is about halfway through this mission, so you don't have to go too far in to do it. And then essentially you get a good chunk of these items doing it this way. You can just refarm again if you want more. After this, we have the compound carbon activator, and for this you're going to be going all the way over to White Knight Gulch. And we're going to be doing either the hatchery or the Moongrave Basin area with the Biolab or the Mystery End mission. So this one we're going to switch back to normal again, because for this one you want to be just going through this as fast as possible. This is a pretty shitty farm though, because there's only one enemy that spawns, whether you do this on normal or hard, and whether whichever dungeon you use, whichever infiltration you use, there's only one enemy that spawns and drops this, and it's quite deep into the mission, so it's a bitch to repeat and do this all the time. But the good news is compound carbon activator is not needed that much by that many recipes, at least not that I've encountered so far. So once you get to this room over here with these pits falling down here, you're going to basically be killing this yellow bar enemy over here, and he's going to drop the item. Now this is in the Biolab. I don't have footage in this video of you running Mystery's End, but there's a similar enemy, and exactly also the fact it's quite deep into the mission, and then you can get compound carbon activator to drop. Then next we have conductive metallic foil. Now each one of the sub-regions, or rather, let me rather say the sub-regions are inside the regions, but each one of the regions like Sterile Land, Agna Desert, Fortress, Hagios, all of them have these vaults on them that you can open up with code breakers, right? The only region that does not have that is Kingston, all right? Other than that, all the other regions have this, and each one of the regions is a different one that drops. So conductive metallic foil is the one that drops from Vespers, okay? So any cache you open up in Vespers, no matter where it is, you will be able to find some conductive metallic foil in that area. So simply going to Vespers, I don't know why I'm taking so long to go here. Specifically, this Timberfall area has a huge amount of these caches available, especially in the edges, like there where I'm showing with the mouse. So essentially, you can just spawn, and as soon as you find one of these caches and open them up, you're going to be able to find some conductive metallic foil in them. So basically, just open up a bunch of these to get as many of this item as you need. Now, you can get this as a random drop from enemies on Vespers as well, and it'll drop like one at a time or something, but this is by far the most efficient way to get the most of them. Then we have cooling metallic foil, which is the same thing. So once again, it's a cache material, but for this, we need to be opening up caches in White Knight Gulch. So anywhere in White Knight Gulch, specifically, I prefer this mountaintops area because it's a big, wide open area that you oftentimes have these statues just sort of like standing around on the outside, like you see here. And you can just pop this open, and that's actually going to give you some cooling metallic foil as well. Obviously try to use Enzo for this, because when you open up these caches with Enzo, you are guaranteed that you will get the crafting, but you will also get Kuiper if there is Kuiper in it. So the second statue and the third statue, so ultra precise or ultra precision, those ones will drop a huge amount of Kuiper as well. And if you have some gear that increases your Kuiper drop, you can get something like 80,000 from like the big one to open up. So that's a pretty big deal, and that's a huge amount of Kuiper. So that's if you use Enzo. If you use any other character to open up these, then oftentimes what can happen is you can either get the Kuiper or the drop. You don't get both. So, you know, you decide. Then we have Crystal Biogel is our next one here. Now, There's also going to be some cases where you actually complete an outpost, and then the final boss in an outpost will drop the item that you need. This is one of the first ones that's like that. So if you go to White Knight Gulch, and specifically if you look over here at the hatchery, if you do this outpost, the final boss in this outpost will drop some crystal biogel. Now, once again, this can happen on normal and on hard, but I prefer to do it on hard, just simply due to the fact that the gear that I get inside there is usable to me, and also any patterns that drop, like for example there, will also be, you know, usable in hard bosses or void intercepts or reactors or something like that, and I can basically then open up those for you know, for some of the crafting stuff. So we get crystal biogel then from this one. Now, I just also want to mention that there's another outpost, and I think I show this here. There's another outpost that also does this. So if you get a little bit tired of that one, you can go to shipment base and you can run that outpost over there. That one will also drop it. So you can see here I'm running it, and the final boss, once again, the yellow bar enemy, will drop the crystal biogel. So there we go. Okay, next we have data processing neural circuit, and this actually comes from Vespers, and you have to go to the lumberyard, and then there's a mission there called frontline base. Now, from the final enemy in this mission, you will be able to get some data processing neural circuits. And so this mission is essentially just, it's one of these exterminations. So you just go through, you know, kill all the enemies, and then the final big, you know, yellow bar enemy will basically spawn on this platform at the above here, and you'll be able to kill this dude, and he is going to drop you some data processing neural circuits. There you go, boom. And then you can just simply back down and redo the mission again. This is a good mission to do in any case, because HP Collector, the mod, drops from here, so you should be doing this in any case if you don't have that mod yet. Next up, we have Deformed Biometal. This is once again another outpost farm, so you'll be killing the final boss in the outpost, and that'll give you the item that you need. This one specifically is in the converter facility sub-region, and that outpost there. So you can see there. So this is, sorry, I think I might have said that. Yeah, so this is Deformed Biometal, and you've got two ones, right? You've got basically what I just showed there. So if we just go back a little bit here, so you can see Fortress. This is the same. There's two outposts that drop this. So Frozen Valley outpost will drop this as well. The footage that I'm going to show you is at the converter facility. I find this one to be easier to do. So you can see that outpost can drop this this crafting material, and that one at converter facility also drops it. The footage, like I said, that I'm going to show you, this is converter facilities outpost. This is just an easier one for me to do. Now you can see me here doing it with Sharon. Of course, if you do it with Sharon, there's just increased chance of you getting more patterns. You don't get more of the actual crafting resource. So feel free to just blast through this shit with any Descendant, you know, run over it with Bunny, whatever. And as soon as you drop that yellow bar, you are going to get yourself some Deformed Biometal. Next up, we have Divided Plasma Battery. And for this, it's one of these 20-minute missions we're going to have to do. And in this case, we are once again switching to normal, because this is just a hell of a lot faster and a hell of a lot easier to just get these divided plasma batteries. Now, the mission that you're looking for is the Asylum, and it sits all the way over at, that's Vermilion Waste is the area's name. So you're basically just going to spawn in, and you're going to do the mission, and it's the first yellow bar enemy that you come across. It's literally as soon as you go into the mission. This is literally me running it from the beginning. That first yellow bar spawns right in this room over here. So you kill through all these enemies, and then essentially he spawns at the back. Now, if you were doing this in normal, this area would be one of those like where you have to dismantle the Kuiper mines, and then still there's a chance that this enemy doesn't actually drop the crafting material. So this is why it's essential to actually do this in normal and not do it in hard. So you just kill all these waves. That dude that spawns on the rock there is who we're looking for. He gives us a divided plasma battery, and then you can just quit out of the mission and come back in and do it again. Next up is Encrypted Neural Circuits. Now, Encrypted Neural Circuits is in the Echo Swamp and the Abandoned Zone, and for this you have to do the Abandoned Refinery Unit mission. Now, we switch back to hard here because this is another one of those really famous missions. This is really good for XP, weapon, you know, proficiency, and all of that stuff. And it's a short little mission that you basically, this is exceptionally built for Bunny if you want to use her. But you basically just run through this, and you're going to get to a final room all the way at the back that's going to have two yellow bar enemies. And when you kill those yellow bar enemies, they're going to drop the crafting, you know, item that you're looking for. There we go, Encrypted Neural Circuits. And then you can simply just jump out that little pipe at the back there and just repeat the mission. So super easy and really good to do. Next up is Fusion Plasma Batteries, and for this we are going to the Sterile Land, and we want to be doing this outpost in the Rockfall area. So again, you go into the outpost, you kill the final boss, the yellow bar, and he is going to have a chance of dropping this. We're doing this on hard so that we can also get patterns and get gear and stuff like that. So I just did a superhero landing there, landed on this guy's head, kill him, boom, fusion plasma battery, done and dusted. Next is heat plasma battery. Okay, so this one is actually interesting though, because you are going to fail this mission on purpose, but by failing this mission, this infiltration on purpose, you're going to get a huge amount of these heat plasma batteries. So we are going to Hagios, whatever, you know, you guys know what I mean. We're going to the Starfall Road, and specifically we want this old mystery, infiltration. So we're just going to spawn right outside the mission. We're going to go inside. You're going to move all the way through, and you are going to get, and this is on hard, by the way, right? You're going to get all the way, let's say, to the middle of the mission, and it's going to be this part here where you have to activate this machine, and then it creates the Kuiper mines that you have to dismantle. And you're not going to be dismantling any of these Kuiper mines. And at certain intervals during this timer ticking down, yellow bar enemies will spawn that you can kill, and each time you kill one of them, they will drop some heat plasma batteries. Now, this can actually yield you 5 times this material, because if you let the time run out on this and you fail this yellow bar enemy will spawn 5 times, and each time you kill him, you will get more heat plasma batteries. So that was the first time. Here's the second one. Boom, he's dead. More. And you just keep on doing this. So you're not dismantling any of the mines, you're just moving around the room. There's the third time. And this is actually a fantastic... Oh, void charge. Let's go, baby. And this is actually a fantastic way for you to just get a huge amount of these heat plasma batteries, because you do need a fair amount of them. And then once you've done that, you can just back out of the mission, and you can just come back in again if you need more of it. Then after that, we have highly concentrated energy residue. Once again, these are gotten from opening up caches. Specifically, these are the ones on Hagios. I'm just going to say Hagios from now on. These are the ones that you get on Hagios. So any cache that you open up on Hagios is going to give you these highly concentrated energy residue material. That is a super long name. Okay, so... boom, we open up this, and guys, by the way, let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see some videos of my routes that I run on these planets to get these caches. I have a specific route for each one of these planets. If that's something that you'd like to see in a video, I'll obviously love to bring it to you guys. But as soon as you pop this bad boy open, that's going to give you some highly concentrated energy residue. All right. Next up, we have Inorganic Biogel, and this is another outpost one. So for this, we're going to Vespers, we're going to Lost Supply Depot, and we're going to do the outpost in Lost Supply Depot. That's that one right over there. As soon as we finish this and kill the final enemy here, a yellow bar he is going to drop the item that we're looking for, Inorganic Biogel. After that, we are going to go look for some insulated metallic foil. For this, we need to go to Kingston. It's the very first area in the game that we go to. And Kingston itself has a mission called Magister's Lab. So for this, we're switching back to normal difficulty again, and we're going into Magister's Lab. Now, for this, you're going to kill the first yellow bar enemy that you find inside here. He's right here as you come into this round room. This is right at the beginning. You can literally do this in like 40 seconds. There he is, smoked out. And that gives you insulated metallic foil. You can quit out of the mission, come back in, and get some more. Next up is Low Carbon Activator. This is another outpost one. For this, we're going in Kingston. We're already in Kingston. We're doing Magister's Lab. So just in the same place, the Fallen... the Fallen Theater. You have an outpost right there. When you finish this outpost and kill the yellow bar enemy inside this outpost, he will drop this item. Now, this is a funny one. This is one that I came across that more often than not, this will not drop on the first time when you run this. I don't know why. It's the oddest thing. So don't be discouraged if you run this the first time you kill the yellow bar and he doesn't drop any low carbon activator on hard difficulty. I don't know why. It could just be my luck. It's super weird. But then in follow-up kills, you will start getting some of this material. The good news is it drops a lot. Like that was 25. And so you'll be able to accumulate a bunch of this like super fast. Next up is Macromolecule Biogel, and for this we're going to Echo Swamp and this Muskeg Swamp area. We're going to be doing the outpost here, and that outpost boss will drop us some Macromolecule Biogel. The other thing is right to the right of this area of Muskeg Swamp. So over here, this one here, that outpost also drops Macromolecule Biogel. So if you don't like this one for some reason, although I believe this one for me is easier than that one, you can also go do that outpost and that one will also drop it. But you just go zone into the area. Again, we're doing this on hard so we can get patterns and, you know, all of that. And we just go in, you kill the reactors, and the boss falls down in this middle area here. You smoke them out, boom, and there we go. Macromolecule Biogel. Next up is mixed energy residues. Guess what? That's another one for Enzo. So in the Agna Desert, if you open up any caches, my route usually starts in Mirage Stone over here. It's quite a few of these caches that can spawn in this area. So basically, as you go into this area, any cache that you open up on Agna Desert is going to give you some mixed energy residue. So just pop that bad boy open, and there we go. Then we have Murky energy residue. And for this one, we are going to be leaving and going to the sterile land. And in the, I believe it's the restricted zone, we have a mission that is called the Forgottens. All right. Now this one, we're going to be running on normal, because if you run it on hard, you get the same amount of material. That was actually the example I showed at the very beginning, where I compared the two to each other. But if you run this on normal, you'll simply just, you know, go in and kill the yellow bar enemy and get it. Whereas if you run it on hard, there's actually like waves that you have to complete and everything, and there's like a timer that you have to run down for 1.5 minutes to open the door and everything. So it just makes everything take like super long. So, you know, enough of that bullshit. So we're just gonna jump up here. That's a yellow bar enemy smoked out over there once you get to this area of the map, and then you can just rinse, repeat, and get that. Funny coincidence is, when I was compiling the footage for this, I actually got more of that resource on normal in one drop than I did on hard. So, you know, go figure. Next up, we have negative ion particle. Again, this is for Enzo. If we go, well, we are already in the sterile land, but if we go and open up any caches in the sterile land, that is going to give us negative ion particles. So I like to go in the classified area here, because you can simply just go behind this big factory over here. There's a cache right there. We pop that sucker open, and that's going to give us some negative ion particles. Then we have organic biogel. Guys, we are speed running through this. Obviously, feel free to slow down this footage on YouTube if I'm going too fast. But this was just a huge amount of information, and I wanted to try and keep this video under 20 minutes, which I don't even think I'm going to fucking succeed doing. But, you know, here we are. So in any case, organic biogel, you're going to Kingston, and you're going to Grand Square, and you're running this Kingston surveillance radar mission, but you're running it on normal. This is what I was referring to earlier in the video when I said I've come across weird situations where there's not a guaranteed chance for something to drop on hard when you do it, whereas there's a guaranteed chance of it, slightly less volume of it, to drop on normal. So it's obviously in your best interest to do it on normal. So do this mission on normal. And it's Kingston surveillance radar. As I say, it's one of these extermination missions, which means that you're going to get enemies just dropped in, and you're going to have to kill them wave by wave. And then when you kill the final enemy, who happens to be a yellow bar enemy, he is going to drop the item that you're looking for. So that's going to be right over there. There we go. Boom. And that is some organic biogel. All right. Then next after that, we have, and we only have a few of these left now, we have polyatomic ion particles. For this, we're going to go to the fortress, and specifically the area that we're looking for is the Frozen Valley, and we want to be doing a mission called Command Relay. Now you're going to get 2 yellow bar enemies here, and you're going to kill both of those, and then you quit out of the mission. All right, because you don't want to be killing the final enemy here, because this is just a waste of your time. The final enemy has never dropped this resource for me, although I think he's supposed to be able to, because usually how these bubble missions work is that they have 3 or 4 enemies inside them that can drop the resource. But for me in this case, it always just works out to kill the first 2 yellow bars. And once again, we are doing this on hard difficulty. So, oh no, wait, we're doing this is on normal. Let me just check my data here. My data, yeah, we're doing this on normal difficulty, I believe. So this, no, it's hard. What am I saying? Sorry guys, I've been up too late, and I've been recording this stuff too long. We're doing this on hard difficulty. We killed the first yellow bar. He just died over there. Boom. And then we get some polyatomic ion particle. We kill the second one, and then we basically jump out. We reset the mission, and we are done. Then next up we have positive ion particles. So for this we're going to go to the Agna Desert and we're going to be doing commanding ground, another one of these bubble ones, and you'll see what I mean now by this. So for this one we are doing this one on normal, and the reason why we're doing this one on normal is that sometimes these enemies on hard just do not drop the resource, and I found this while I was recording the footage. So in this case we are doing it on normal so that each one of these 3 yellow bars, there's the first one, drops us some positive ion particles. So you're just staying inside the circle. There's our second yellow bar, we're going to kill him, positive ion particle, done. And then there's our third dude, done and dusted. Next, and this I believe is the 4th last one, is pure energy residue. This is another Enzo one. Specifically this is Fortress, and I believe I'm going to be showing the Fallen Arc area. There's a really good sequence that you can run here that you can find lots of these caches, but any cache that you open up in the Fortress area will basically give you pure energy residue. There you can see it. Then we have specialized biometal. Now, this is a super odd one, and this is going to require some explanation from my side. All right, because this is the only one where I'm going to tell you to go and pop open a reactor boss and actually kill the reactor boss for the item. However, there's a trick to it. So I'm going to let the footage play in the background, but I'll explain. First of all, even though this here shows normal, I want you to do this on hard, okay? Because you're going to get more of the specialized biometal. But specifically, that is the reactor that you need to be coming to, okay? And that is in the Dune base area, okay, of Hagios. Now, just want to make sure. I think I just gave myself some extra time here to talk about it. But the bottom line is this is the reactor here as you come to it. Now, when you summon the boss in this reactor, it's going to pop out one big dude and 2 smaller enemies. Now, you'll see there, right, the cost of this reactor is 34 organic void shards and 11 monomer void shards. You can see it right there, okay? And you can see that I have 389 organics and I have 955 monomer. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to pop the reactor boss, and then we're only going to kill the big boy. And then as soon as we kill the big boy, we're going to abandon the mission. We're going to leave the other 2 yellow bar enemies alive. And what that's going to do is the big boy is going to drop the specialized biometal that we need, okay? And because we abandoned the mission, we're actually going to get our shards that we paid for the reactor back. And you can just do this over and over and over, and you're going to get a whole bunch of specialized biometal. So boom, there it spawns. You're going to see big boy, chunky man's going to come out, and his 2 friends. There he is. So we're going to blow this guy away. I don't know why this is the footage is this bad, but okay, you guys can follow. So we're going to kill him, and as soon as we kill him, you see the other dudes are still attacking us. You know, screw that. We're going to abort the mission, okay? And now we're going to run over there, and we're going to pick up our specialized biometal. Now, after that, I went back into my inventory, and just to show you, so now I'm going back in, and you can see here, underneath my materials, 389 organics still left, and 955 monomer. So you actually get refunded if you abandon halfway through, and this way we can essentially farm all of that material without actually paying for it. So kind of naughty. This works for any reactor, by the way. So if you have reactors with multiple bosses and you're looking to get one thing from one of the bosses while leaving the other one alive, you will always get a refund if you cancel having not killed all the enemies in a reactor. I believe it's a way for you to get your money back if you're not strong enough to kill the enemy, which is really cool. It's nice that they put that in, but yeah, that's how that works. Okay. Then we have synthesized artificial biometal. All right. And this is another outpost one. So if we go to the Agna Desert, and specifically we go to this outpost in Mirage Stone, when we kill the final yellow bar here, it is going to drop the crafting ingredient, the synthesized artificial biometal. This one, do it in normal, because this is another one of those funny ones where for some reason on hard, it's not a guaranteed drop. Sometimes he drops it, sometimes he doesn't. However, if you do this on normal, it's guaranteed. You always get synthesized artificial biometal. So you're going to spawn in there, you're going to run up, you're going to kill the first wave, you're going to kill yellow bar dude, and bam, there you have some synthesized artificial biometal. And then last, guys, we finally arrived at the 31st rare material, research material, is thermal metallic foil. And this is once again coming from caches, so go grab your Enzo. And you're going to the Echo Swamp, and I believe I found this cache, I think it was in the abandoned zone, I want to say. No, it might have been the abandoned zone, or it might have been the Misty Woods. I guess I go to the Misty Woods. But boom, there you go. And as soon as you open up this, any caches that you open up anywhere in the Echo Swamp region will give you some thermal metallic foil. That is all 31 of these rare materials done. There are, of course, other ways of getting these, but this is my sort of like route. This is the way that I do this. This is how I get all of my materials farmed. Now, I have some good news for you. If that video was ridiculously difficult to follow and if I went way too fast, I also have all of this in an Excel format here with some comments and exactly how you should do it, the difficulties that you should be doing it on, and everything like that. So this can be another source of this information for you. This link to this file is in the description of this video as well. This is a ongoing Excel document that I've essentially built with a bunch of tabs and stuff in. If you've seen some of my previous videos, this file will be familiar to you. But there's a tab in here called Rare Research Material. You can see it at the bottom there. Bam. And that is going to have all 31 of these in there. I've color coded exactly if it's a mission you need to do, an infiltration or a vault or the reactor or everything like that. But that's going to be everything collected for you in one place that you can quickly refer to instead of having to look for the timestamps in the video. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still here. I know this was a super long video and I should have told you guys to buckle up and get ready for it at the beginning, but here we are now. Hopefully this helps you get some of the material that you need for whichever descendant you're trying to unlock, or weapon or anything like that. Feel free to suggest in the comments more efficient, better ways that you found to get these materials, because I'm sure that the people that are watching this video appreciate it if there are ways to do this even faster. And obviously that helps the community as a whole, which is the whole point of this. Other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.